My brothers and sisters, we gather here speaking of African unity, yet one of our own sits in chains. Nnamdi Kanu was abducted, renditioned, and silenced, not because he stole, not because he killed, but because he demanded what we all claim to want: true independence. Do not tell me this is Nigeria's internal affair. When one African is chained, all Africans are chained. When one voice is silenced, all our voices are at risk. We wear fine suits, we sign trade deals that enrich our colonizers, while those who fight for real freedom are punished. Is this justice? Is this sovereignty? No, it is betrayal. We all know the truth, yet too many of us pretend not to. Nnamdi Kanu was not captured with a weapon in his hands. He was not a warlord, he was not a murderer, he was not a thief of public treasury. He was a man who chose the path of words, who picked up the microphone instead of the machete, who built his struggle on speeches, not on bullets. Yet see how he was treated, see how he was hunted, see how he was dragged like prey in the night. Even the manner of his arrest was clothed in secrecy, shrouded in questions that no authority has answered with honesty. If justice was the motive, why the shadows? If fairness was the goal, why the silence? This is a direct message to Igbo governors. Yes, I am speaking to you. Where were you when your brother Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, chained, and thrown into prison? Where were you when he cried out for justice, not just for himself but for your people? You chose silence. You chose comfort. You chose to bow before power while your own son was humiliated before the world. You betray not just Kanu, you betray the land that birthed you. You betray the youth who once believed you would protect them. You betray the mothers who pray in tears every night. And you betray the very idea of leadership itself. Nnamdi Kanu did not steal from your people. He did not kill your people. He gave his voice, his freedom, his blood for them. And instead of standing with him, you stand with those who oppress him. Tell me, is this not betrayal? Governors of Igbo land, let me remind you, silence is not leadership. Silence is complicity. And complicity is betrayal. History will not remember your mansions, your convoys, your contracts. History will remember this moment that when your brother sat in chains, you turned your back. When your land cried for justice, you chose to protect your seats instead. Stand for your people, stand for your brother, or accept the truth that you are leaders in name but traitors in action. The youth are watching, Africa is watching, and history never forgets. Brothers and sisters, how long shall Africa watch in silence while one of her own sons is dragged through humiliation? How long shall a people stand by while their brother is betrayed, mocked, and left to rot in detention? How long shall we pretend not to see that injustice has become a daily bread served on the table of power? I cannot keep quiet. I will not hold my tongue while Nnamdi Kanu, a son of Nigeria, a son of Igbo land, a son of Africa, languishes in chains. His crime? That he dared to speak. That he dared to raise questions that others were too afraid to ask, that he dared to stand when others chose to kneel. For this, he has been hunted, arrested in secrecy, dragged across borders like a common criminal, and thrown into the abyss of endless court delays. Tell me, is this justice, or is this persecution?
Ladies and gentlemen, all across the world today, people are watching. They are watching very closely what is happening in Nigeria, a country that should be a beacon of hope. A country filled with amazing, hardworking people, a country with enormous potential. And yet, Nigeria is facing a crisis of leadership, a crisis of justice, and a crisis of human rights. And I am here today to speak out very strongly, very clearly, because silence in the face of injustice is not acceptable. We must tell the truth. We must say it as it island. I am calling very strongly for the immediate release of Nnamdi Kanu. He has been unjustly detained, persecuted, and silenced simply because he stood up for his people. He raised his voice for the Igbo people, and for that, he has been punished. That is not democracy. That is not freedom. That is persecution. The Igbo people are some of the most talented, resilient, and innovative people in Africa. They have built businesses, they have contributed to the economy, they have survived a terrible civil war, and yet, decades later, they are still treated as second-class citizens in their own country. This is wrong, totally wrong. And let me say this, when a government fears the voice of its own citizens, that government has lost its way. When a government locks up leaders instead of listening to them, it is not leading with strength, it is leading with fear. Nigeria must do better. The world is watching. But it is not only about Nnamdi Kanu and the Igbo people. We must also speak about the persecution of Christians in Nigeria. Too many times, churches have been attacked, burned to the ground. Too many families have lost loved ones. Too many innocent men, women, and children have been slaughtered simply for their faith. It is one of the great human rights tragedies of our time, and it is happening right now. Every man and woman should have the right to worship freely, to gather in peace, and to live without fear of being attacked. Religious freedom is not negotiable. It is a God-given right. And when Christians are being murdered and their voices are being ignored, that is not only a Nigerian problem, that is a global problem. To the leaders of Nigeria, I say this: the world is watching you. History is watching you. Release Nnamdi Kanu. Stop the persecution of the Igbo people. Protect Christians across your land. Show the world that you are ready for peace, for justice, for fairness, because a nation that persecutes its own people cannot stand strong. To the international community, I say, do not remain silent. Do not turn your back. Silence only empowers the oppressor. We must speak for those who cannot speak. We must stand for those who are silenced. The people of Nigeria deserve the same freedoms, the same justice, and the same dignity as every other people on earth. I say to the Nigerian youth, you are the future. You are strong, you are smart, and you are the hope of your nation. Do not lose hope. Do not be afraid to stand for justice, because the world is beginning to hear your voices. And I say to the Igbo people, your struggle is seen. Your pain is recognized. Your contributions to Nigeria, to Africa, and to the world will never be erased. You are not forgotten, and you will never be forgotten. Let this be a turning point. Let this be the time when justice prevails. Let this be the moment when the government listens to the cries of its people. The immediate release of Nnamdi Kanu is the first step toward healing, toward peace, toward unity. Nigeria is too great a country to be torn apart by division, injustice, and persecution. It is time to choose freedom over fear, justice over oppression, and unity over division. So once again, I am calling, as strongly as possible, release Nnamdi Kanu now. Protect the Igbo people. Protect the Christians. Restore freedom. Restore justice. Restore hope. God bless the people of Nigeria. God bless the oppressed. And God bless the freedom-loving people all over the world. Thank you very much.
Brother, can I tell you something? When we are talking about freedom of mass and Nnamdi Kanu, do you ever ask yourself, why is it that for the first time in the centuries that Putin and Donald Trump enter one motor one day and drove off without coming back to tell the world exactly what they discuss, what the meeting is all about? Even as we speak now, Putin is still busy taking and occupying Ukraine. Are you hearing me? Busy occupying Ukraine. Busy again underground in Africa here, scattering the foundation of France. You understand? Then do you know why, or have you ever asked yourself a question? Even in the UN, as the UN General Election meeting is still going on, that General Assembly is still going on. Do you go to Gaza and go and see what Israel is doing there? That is to tell you there are things that is going underground that you don't know until when it comes to play. This Biafra of a thing is something that Donald Trump is aware of it even before the second term. When Buhari was there, didn't you see what he told Buhari, late Buhari? He warned him. And what did he call Buhari? He called him a working corpse. That is what he called me, the late Buhari now. Yes, he called late Buhari, I mean Donald Trump, in 2019. Yeah.
You have evidence,
yes.
Evidence to
but my example, check. That's why I said it. Excuse me. That is why I said, please comment in case if I'm lying. I want you to prove me wrong. Donald Trump called late Muhammadu Buhari a working corpse. 2019, when it was the first time of being a president before this second, not this time more. I mean, when Donald Trump first time when Buhari was the president of Nigeria, he called him a working corpse. He even said that Nigeria doesn't have president. Donald Trump says so. Are you getting me? So all these things are the things that he himself knows before now. And let me tell you, the current COS, the chief of staff of America today, Suze Willie, was once a lobbyist, a partner with the Nnamdi Kanu. So there is nothing new before the cabinet of Donald Trump currently now pertaining to Biafra. So if you say they are coming, or you say it's coming, I don't doubt. I will not say maybe somebody take it. The news is already at his table, in his heart. He's aware of it. If he's coming, they are now him, Donald Trump, and the Traore. Traore have already remember the speech of Nnamdi Kanu. It was what waking people like Traore up. He woke them up from their slumber, and many other African nations. You get the message now. So there are people that are already waiting. They are just waiting so that let it not be as if they violate UN, the law that regard a sovereign nation. If not so, countries would have come. But they are just trying to follow the due process. By the time they reach, remember I said this thing, even when Nigeria like or not, let them sign the freedom of Biafra or not. Time will come. The external forces that is stronger than Nigeria will revoke some laws. There are some laws either in 17th century, in 17th centuries. There are laws that permit the stronger nation, as in the #1 nation in the world, to revoke against any other nation. You understand? But them don't know all this. That's why they come. And that is why up to today, Donald Trump and Putin, they are just rubbing shoulder. I will do this, I will do that, which they never do against Ukraine. You understand? Because when you talk of war power, you can't take it away from Putin. Then, excuse me, don't you see, France and the UK has been exposed. Currently, what is going on now? UK now is in disarray. France now is, Macron now his leg is shaking. One leg outside, one leg inside office. They don't have a stay, they don't have a say again. Just because that Donald Trump came to power and pulled this thing from Ukraine. All the rest of the Europeans that have been pushing Zelensky, where are they? We are they able to support Ukraine? We are they able to finance him? We are they able to supply arms to him? We are they able to equip him? We are they able to do anything? Go to Ukraine now. Their word is irrelevant. Who is Zelensky running after now? Now Donald Trump. He run about the full arm. But the deceivers are there pushing him, which they cannot. So those ones are irrelevant. So when you're talking about men, when you mention America, you begin mentioning Russia. These are the men. When you talk, you know that men are talking, not to UK. So Putin have already stand playing the game against France in Nigeria. The one that France is doing is the one they have stolen from Africa before, which very soon, when it expires and when it finishes, they will not have any other source again from in Africa, because the enrichment comes from Africa.
So the likes of Burkina Faso,
Mali, Senegal,
so
Niger.
They were the one funding France.
What?
They were funding France.
They are the one financing and funding France now. They are the ones strengthening and empowering France. And that is why France is claiming, carrying shoulder like this, being the European mouthpiece. European mouthpiece. Oh, yeah, make him speak now. See the mess that Netanyahu messed them in the UN meeting. He said, all of you that recognize Palestine, oh yeah, I'm waiting there. Come and give them now. It's not about saying it, or you carry it out. Go and see the kind of bombing that took place in Gaza, Palestine. Do you know now? They have decided to relocate Palestine now down to Africa, Sudan and co. Do you understand? Because that place, as I speak to you, as Putin is taking over Ukraine, Israel is taking over Palestine. What can they do? Nothing. So when they say they are coming, I believe. I believe and I have that faith. And when they comes, Nigeria cannot do anything. Ordinary Nigeria, ECOWAS no fit stand. Because a divided house cannot stand. And in the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, any justice that is delayed is a justice to be denied. Any justice that is delayed is a justice to deny. And that is what is playing against Mazen Nnamdi, because they have delayed. So they use that delay to deny him his rights. Take a look at what happened. How many months does it take Kenya? How many years does it take Kenya to handle the same case that took place in their country regarding to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu? See the way everything cleared. They came up with the final results. How many months does it take Finland to handle the case of Simon Ekpa? How many months? They finally settled everything and they came up with something. See the result, which is Simon Ekpa have appealed and it was approved. And Nigeria is in shock. Again, that is to tell you, anywhere you will get justice, that justice can never be delayed so that it can be achieved. But anywhere the justice is being delayed, definitely that justice will be what? Denied. And that is the case of Nigeria. So what we need now, like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu need now, is what is actually going on now. Because it is no longer Igbo Nigeria thing. It has become Igbo Nigeria, Africa, and international world. Because if you come to Africa now, anything that Nigeria no game say again. Nigeria doesn't have a say again in Africa. Because many of those people now are no longer with Nigeria, they are back out. Those ones that could have supported Nigeria, they are back out. And they are now they are now giving their support to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, to the Igbos that itself, to those Igbos currently as we speak now. Everybody is finding a way to avoid, to dodge Nigeria. Then they come into the Europe. Who and who stand for Nigeria? Who and who? Is it not UK out of their own selfish interest? What they are profiting and benefiting in Nigeria? The cheating and the robbery and the documental slavery which they are using against Nigeria is what makes of which Tobaya, when time comes, they themselves will not do anything. Because now it's not 1967 to 1970. If they should rise now, other people will rise. Look at what Erufai wife said. Was it not last month, August or July? He said the Igbos are the one making Nigeria proud in USA. Did he mention Fulani? Did he mention Yoruba? Did he mention Hausa? Did he mention Efik? Did he mention TV? Did he mention which one did he did not? He mentioned. He said the Igbos specifically. Erufai wife say Igbos are making Nigeria proud in United States of America. Then, are you trying to tell me that what she said was lie? Or she don't know what she's saying? She knows what she have gone through the whole thing and discovered of a truth. These people are very unique. Of which indeed we are. We are very, very unique. And since Nigeria did not value our words, so we have to go. So they must free Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Whether Nigeria like it or not, whether UK like it or not. We must be free. If we go for treatment and come back and finish Nigeria where it stopped. Because see Nigeria, we can never negotiate with Nigeria again. That time
so even though they agree to finally give Nigeria what they want, or so the Biafrans what they want.
What did you think that Biafra wants?
Infrastructures now. Infrastructure.
We don't need it. We can build by ourselves. The ones, excuse me, we can build it by ourselves. The ones that have been there, excuse me, the ones that have been there, we are the one building it by ourselves. So definitely, I don't think that it is now that we will not be able to build it for ourselves. And let me tell you, and I want the world to hear this word. The one Nigeria you are talking about are the resources of the Igbos. The one Nigeria you are hearing are the resources, the mineral resources, the mineral blessings, the blessings of the Lord in the southeast. That is one Nigeria. Of which, take those things away now, there will be no one Nigeria. You see, this word of one Nigeria will die. It will end. It's just because of all those mineral resources, all those oil and coal. That's why they are still telling you that we are one. We are not one. If we are one, there should have been an equity. If we are one, there should be an unity. If we are one, there should be an oneness. a situation whereby Igbo man cannot even do Lagos. Okay, look at the places that the Igbos are bearing them in Lagos have been removed now in Lagos. Lagos people, Yorubas have taken it, have removed it, and begin to fix their own name. What makes it us to be one? Why are we deceiving ourselves? Are you getting it? The places, the streets, or the this thing that, or the bus stop that carry Igbo, they are changing it. That is to tell you we are not one. There is no unity. Can Igbo man rule Kaduna now? Ordinary, see, look at the presidency, that everybody has equal rights, equity, unity according to the law. For us, everybody to rule. Did they allow Igbo man to rule? So definitely there is no equity and there is no love and there is no unity. So let everybody go their separate ways.
5. When you fast forward to October 2022, when the Court of Appeal discharged Nnamdi Kanu, there was also a judgment issuing from the Federal High Court sitting in Umuahia, which had declared his rendition from Kenya as unconstitutional. It didn't stop there. It went as far as declaring his continued detention in Abuja as unconstitutional. What will you do or expect a responsible government to do when the detention of her citizen is declared unconstitutional? You open the gates of the detention center and allow the citizen the free pass to go home. That's what Nnamdi Kanu desired to have been done with him since October 2022 when that judgment came. But the federal government never did. That's part of the reason why we are saying his detention has turned extrajudicial and is no longer backed by any coroner. 6. Regarding the December 2023 judgment of the Supreme Court, which people are touting as having sent Nnamdi Kanu's case back to the High Court for trial, it doesn't end there. If it ends there, then it's a mischievous conclusion. The court went further. It said Nnamdi Kanu needs to go back to the High Court for trial, but it also said the High Court should not have revoked his bail. It also said that by revoking his bail, the impartiality of the High Court judge had become suspect. Ladies and gentlemen, you may not be lawyers, but when the apex court of the land tells a High Court, you should not have done this, what remains is for a High Court to do that which, or undo that wrong which he had done. And Section 287 of Nigerian Constitution backs this up, because under that section, all subordinate courts in the country, or all courts in the country, are subordinate to the decisions of the Supreme Court. It never happened. 7. Now, talking about the much vaunted trial of Nnamdi Kanu, we raised objections to this trial too, based on the conditions of his detention, which were very stringent and highly prejudicial to his right to fair trial. This application was summarily denied and an accelerated trial was ordered in its place. We raised a second objection based on certain constitutional infirmities and statutory issues we noticed in the charges facing against Nnamdi Kanu. This too was summarily denied. So if you were Nnamdi Kanu, what will you do under the circumstances? To succumb to a trial you knew in your heart to be going towards the trajectory of an unfair trial, or to seek alternatives to that. 8. Having considered those factors which we enunciated, Nnamdi Kanu felt that the only fair way out of this logjam is to seek that his case be handled by another judge. Hence, the recusal, the famous recusal that is still roiling the system. And in concluding this press statement, ladies and gentlemen of the media, we must go on record to say this. As lawyers Our duty is to ensure that Nnamdi Kanu's case is conducted or handled in accordance with all the laws pertinent to it, particularly the Constitution of the Federal Government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is the ground norm. In our view, this has not been the case, and the evidence is legion, as all who have dispassionately followed the trajectories of this case would agree. On this score, ladies and gentlemen, we make bold to state that this case has turned from the legal and the judicial to the political. This is perhaps the reason why there is a broad spectrum of persons and organizations calling for a resolution of this case outside of the judicial part, also known as political solution by baptism. These calls range from the international to the domestic, including members of the Senate, House of Representatives, the clergy, CSOs, eminent lawyers, and many others too numerous to mention. Be that as it may, and judging from 2015 when this case began, 9 years ago, there is a trove of evidence that suggests